So yesterday we looked at what is drug induction and what is drug inhibition, enzyme induction and enzyme inhibition facilitated by a drug. Okay. Today we'll look at what is drug excretion. We also discussed first part metabolism yesterday. At drug excretion or drug elimination. Okay. The E part and the last part of your LADME. Okay. So any drug, it can get excreted out of your body through several organs. Okay. This is an action through which once the drug is absorbed and distributed, once it has performed its function, it is getting metabolized. And most drugs, after their metabolism, they'll move on to elimination. Now, the main route of elimination of drugs will always remain kidneys. Okay. Most drugs will get eliminated through kidneys, specifically your urine. Okay. Some other routes of elimination include GIT. Okay. GIT will also include bile and feces. Do you know? Some drugs will get eliminated through skin. Now, this essentially means sweat. Okay. GIT will include both bile and feces. Some drugs get eliminated through breast milk. That is why certain drugs are not supposed to be given to pregnant women because क्या होता, those drugs will not only act on the lady who is taking it, they will also pass on to the child. Okay, if the drug is getting eliminated out of the breast milk or if it is penetrating into the breast tissue and it is entering breast milk, then the drug will start showing its effect in the baby as well. So that is why certain drugs are avoided in pregnant and lactating women. Breast milk, lungs. Lungs elimination will essentially be your breath. Okay? So alcohol is one example. Ethyl alcohol. Then saliva. Certain drugs get eliminated through saliva. Tears and hair. Okay? So main 90 to 95% of drugs will get eliminated through kidney. Big chunk, let's suppose around 2% will get eliminated through this, and the remaining will get eliminated through this in decreasing order. Okay. Now you have different drugs. More often than not, most drugs will get eliminated through kidneys in certain cases. For example, lung से आपका ethyl alcohol जाता. There is a drug called rifampicin. Rifampicin gets eliminated through skin, through tears. It will also get eliminated through feces. Okay. So what happens? Rifampicin is a specific drug that is given in tuberculosis, and because of a certain effect of the drug, what will happen is tears and sweat. They will start having reddish orange color. Okay, the drug will impart reddish orange color. Essentially, what will happen is the patient, especially if it is, if they are the drug is getting eliminated through tears, the tears will be reddish orange in color, and when they sweat, the sweat will be reddish orange in color because of which the skin will start getting colored. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens is if you don't inform the patient, they might get panicked and all. So you need to tell them if the patient is on rifampicin, what will happen is the drug, when it is getting eliminated, it will cause reddish discoloration of whichever route it is getting eliminated out of. Right? Breast milk से phenobarbital निकलता. Okay. Then saliva से lithium निकलता. Lithium is used as an anti-epileptic drug. Okay. It is also used as an antipsychotic drug in certain cases. Hair root से arsenic products निकलते. ठीक है. Now, this is the core basics of drug elimination. We'll talk about kinetics of drug elimination. How drugs are getting eliminated and what are the mechanisms they are using to get eliminated. There are two main mechanisms or two main ways through which drugs get eliminated. Kinetics of drug elimination. Okay, I'm not talking about route here. कौन सा route से eliminate हो रहा है वो बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं. कैसा eliminate हो रहा है वो बात कर रहा हूँ. Okay, before we get into kinetics of drug elimination, we need to understand the concept of T-half or half-life. Now, plasma half-life of any drug. This T-half represents plasma half-life. Okay, plasma half-life. Okay. Plasma half-life is essentially the time taken by the drug to reach 50% of its original concentration in plasma after you administer it through any route. ठीक है, इसका मतलब क्या है? मैं एक ड्रग दे रहा हूँ. Let's suppose for the sake of ease we use a oral medication. Let's suppose I'm giving a tablet which is 500 mg. ठीक है, and let's suppose 1 hour after administering the drug, 1 hour after the patient has taken the drug, the concentration of the drug in the patient's blood, in the patient's plasma, is around, let's suppose, 60 mg per ml. Okay? So I'm giving a tablet, 500 mg tablet to the patient, and the drug takes about 1 hour, 1.5 hours to reach systemic circulation. Meaning, in that 1.5 hours, the drug particles are getting liberated. Some of them are getting liberated, some of them are getting absorbed, and they are reaching systemic circulation. Okay? At that point, I am withdrawing a little bit of blood, and I'm seeing that the drug is reaching 60 mg per ml, that concentration. Now, plasma T half refers to a point in time wherein this 60 will become 30. Okay? Essentially, it is the time taken by the drug to reach half of its original concentration in plasma. Now, we could assume that the normal therapeutic range or the minimum therapeutic dose or minimum therapeutic concentration for the drug to show its effect could be 15 mg per ml. मीनिंग आपके ब्लड में मिनिमम 15 mg पर ml रहना वो ड्रग का इफेक्ट दिखने के लिए. लेट्स सपोज दिस ड्रग इज पैरासिटामोल. ठीक है, and you need at least 15 mg per ml of concentration of paracetamol to see an effect of paracetamol, to see decrease in blood, to see decrease in fever and decrease in pain. अब आप क्या पॉइंट, ये टी हाफ विल रेफर टू अ पॉइंट वेयर दैट concentration is reaching half of its original concentration. जो ओरिजिनल कॉन्सेंट्रेशन 60 ये 0th आर पे अचीव करा. ठीक है, इसको 0th आर इसलिए बोल रहा हूं मैं बिकॉज एट 0th आर इट इज कमिंग इनटू ब्लड. ओके, दिस 1 hour or 1.5 hours is generally not counted. I'll repeat once again. Once you give a tablet to a patient, it is getting liberated, it is then getting absorbed, and some of those particles that are entering your systemic circulation, they are able to achieve a certain concentration in your blood, which will start showing the effect of the drug. Okay? Let us suppose that time where the drug is showing some peak concentration is 0th hour. Okay? The start time 60 mg per ml concentration है जब. T half or half life will essentially be the time taken by that drug to decrease its concentration to half of its original concentration. So 60 से 30 हो जा रहा है. ठीक है, and eventually it will become 0, but you are essentially taking the, essentially measuring the time taken by the drug to reach half of its original concentration. So यहाँ से यहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए आप T half बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है, why is T half important? Using half life, you can measure how long the drug will work. Okay? Now, it does not mean that if the drug is reaching half life here, it will take the same T half here. Say, let's suppose T half is equal to 3 hours. Example. Let's suppose T half, it is taking 3 hours for the drug to reach half of its original concentration. Within 3 hours, half of the concentration of the drug is decreasing to half of its original concentration. It does not mean that it will take the same 3 hours for the drug to go from 30 to 0. Okay? It can slow down after that. बहुत सारी चीजें हो सकती है. And what can happen is, let's suppose by the time it is reaching 15, it is taking 3 hours, and by the time it is completely getting eliminated out of your blood, meaning there is 0 concentration of the drug in your blood, it is taking 4 more hours. Example. Okay? So total duration of action will be 6 hours. But the total duration for which the drug is inside your body is 10 hours. Okay? यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा, एक ड्रग है, आप ड्रग ए दे रहे, ठीक है. Initially the concentration that it is achieving in your blood is 60 mg per ml of blood. ठीक है, this is at 0th hour. अब यहाँ से 30 पहुंचने के लिए जितना टाइम लगता, that is defined as T half. ठीक है, to reach half of its concentration. Now this can be 60 to 30, it can be 100 to 50, it can be whatever the concentration is. It is essentially taking the certain time to reach half of its original concentration. Now let us suppose this T half is equal to 3 hours. ठीक है, इट डज नॉट मीन दैट यहाँ 30 से 0 पहुंचने के लिए या 30 से 15 पहुंचने के लिए एंड 15 से 0 पहुंचने के लिए इट विल ऑल्सो टेक 3 hours. It might take 3 hours for the 30 mg/ml to reach 15. ठीक है, यहाँ पर ये मिनिमम थेरेपेटिक डोज है, अपन अभी बोले थे सपोजिंग दैट 15 इज द मिनिमम थेरेपेटिक डोज, मतलब 15 के नीचे अगर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन गया ब्लड के, if the drug concentration reaches a level below 15 mg/ml, we are supposing this, okay, then you will stop seeing the effect of the drug, meaning the duration of action of the drug will only be 6 hours, but it might take 4 more hours for the drug to get completely eliminated out of your body, meaning for this 15 mg/ml to become 0 mg/ml, meaning true elimination of the drug, it might take 10 hours totally, 3 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, so t-half only indicates the time taken by the drug to reach half of its concentration. It will be helped through a few complex calculations. अब बाद में, it is not taught to you, but through a few more complex calculations, what you can do is you can see what is the peak time, कितना जल्दी peak time reach हो रहा and कितनी देर peak time पे रह रहा before it is reaching half of its concentration. Once it has reached half of its concentration, you will know that अच्छा अब इधर से नीचे ही जाएगा, ड्रग का concentration कम होते जाएगा. So I can time it in such a way that let's suppose this drug is working for 6 hours. No, what I will do is, let's suppose 6 hours के लिए काम कर रहा था. First hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour, fifth hour and sixth hour. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर 60 था इनिशियली, इधर 30 हो जा रहा एंड अपोज लेट्स सपोज इधर 15 हो जा रहा. 15 के नीचे गया बोले तो ड्रग विल नॉट शो एनी इफेक्ट. तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, based on my knowledge of this, what I will do is I will start giving another drug, and I know that it will take at least 1 hour to 1.5 hours for that drug to reach 60 also after I give oral dose. तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, एक और डोज, सेकेंड डोज इधर देता हूँ. ठीक है, यहाँ पर सेकेंड, यहाँ पर 5th hour के टाइम पे I will give second dose. इसका मतलब क्या होता, by the time the first drug is reaching 6th hour, by the time it is reaching 15 mg/ml, second drug will start reaching a certain concentration, and by the time this drug goes below therapeutic level, this will come up to 60. ठीक है, या मैं 6th hour के अराउंड दे सकता हूँ ताकि और थोड़ा पुश होता. आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग श्योर दैट द ड्रग इज कंटिन्यूअसली इन द पेशेंट बॉडी एंड द इफेक्ट इज नॉट ब्रोकन. दैट इज व्हाई प्लाज्मा हाफ लाइफ इज काइंड ऑफ इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, इन मोस्ट ड्रग्स आप जब ड्रग के बारे में पढ़ेंगे फ्रॉम हियर ऑन आउट, क्लासिफिकेशंस एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, what we'll be studying about in PK parameters will be t-half of the drug, adverse effects of the drug, dose of the drug, ठीक है, maybe a few PD parameters of the drug. ठीक है, ये 3-4 चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट रहती है, वो हर एक ड्रग के लिए लिखना पड़ता है आपको. So there is that, and what kind of elimination follows, which organ it is getting eliminated from and which organ is metabolizing it. ठीक है, ये भी included रहता है. Now, coming back to the discussion where I was telling you about kinetics of drug elimination, there are two main ways through which drugs will get eliminated out of your body. ठीक है, now some drugs, or technically speaking most drugs, will follow something called first order kinetics. First order kinetics, and a few drugs will follow second order kinetics. What is the difference between them? Any drug that is following first order kinetics, इसका मतलब ये रहता, that drug, a constant fraction of that drug is getting eliminated at each unit time. What does that mean? यहाँ पर fraction is constant. ठीक है, fraction या percentage is constant. इसका मतलब क्या है? Let's suppose I give 100 mg of the drug. ठीक है, and 50% will get eliminated. 50% gets excreted out at a constant time, meaning after, let's suppose, 6 hours of giving that drug, 50% of the drug is getting eliminated. इसका मतलब क्या है? अगर मैं 500 mg दिया ड्रग का, again 50% will get eliminated. मीनिंग यहाँ पर 50% एलिमिनेट हो गया 6 आवर्स के बाद बढ़ा तो 50 mg बच गया बॉडी में, यहाँ पर 50% एलिमिनेट हो गया बढ़ा तो 50 mg बढ़ गया बॉडी। Okay. Even if I increase the dose of this drug, because it follows first order kinetics, a constant fraction of the drug will get eliminated. Okay, a constant percentage or a constant fraction of the drug is getting eliminated. Half concentration essentially. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So, as I was telling you, first order kinetic drug, any drug that you will come across and it tells that it is following first order kinetics, it means that despite the change in the drug dose that you give, ठीक है, आप 100 mg dose दो या 500 mg dose दो, 1000 mg dose दो, कोई भी dose दो, a constant fraction of drug will be eliminated at any unit time, each unit time. यहाँ पर each unit time will be the t half. ठीक है, यहाँ पर that unit time we are considering t half as 6 hours. ठीक है, we know that the same drug has a half life of 6 hours. मतलब 6 hours के बाद 50% of the drug will be gone out. ठीक है, यहाँ पर आप डोज बढ़ाए भी तो फिर 50% ही जा रहा, फ्रैक्शन इज द सेम। आप 1000 mg भी करे तो 50% ही एलिमिनेट होगा। ठीक है, despite the increase in dose, that percentage or that fraction will remain constant in first order kinetic drugs. ठीक है, compared to, sorry, this is not second order, this is zero order. Second order drugs are something else. One second. So that is first order. Then we have zero order kinetics. Zero order kinetics में a constant amount is eliminated. Eliminated in at each unit time. At each unit time. ठीक है, in this case also we are taking that unit of time as t half. ठीक है, यहाँ पर constant amount of drug is getting eliminated. इसका मतलब क्या है? Let's suppose there is a drug whose 100 mg I am giving to a patient. ठीक है, and at t half, at the half life mark, ठीक है, this fellow, let's suppose that t half is 4 hours. ठीक है, at t half 10 mg of the drug is getting eliminated. ठीक है, यहाँ पर कांस्टेंट अमाउंट है, मैं परसेंटेज में बोल रहा हूँ, अमाउंट बोल रहा हूँ। ठीक है, 10 mg is getting eliminated. अब मैं ये डोज अगर बढ़ा दिया, लेट्स सपोज आई मेक इट 200 mg, at the 4-hour mark still 10 mg only will get eliminated. That amount will remain constant per unit time. ठीक है, even if you increase the dose of the drug, that amount will not change. This is very important with respect to certain drugs because it means that up 100 mg say you are getting a certain effect and that drug is getting eliminated at a rate of 10 mg for every 4 hours, or at 4 hour time that particular unit time 10 mg was getting eliminated and slowly more and more drug was getting eliminated. ठीक है, अगर आप 200 mg कर दिए, डबल कर दिए डोज, तो भी 4 hours में 10 mg each eliminate हो रहा, but what does that mean? More amount of drug is present inside your body, there is a higher chance that it can cause toxicity. ठीक है, that is why zero order kinetic drugs can be kind of tricky and serious when you are giving. यहाँ पर आप 100 mg एक डोज दे रहे ड्रग का, ठीक है, and at one particular unit of time, let's suppose instead of making it 4 hours, let's suppose I make it 1 hour. ठीक है, 1 hour पे 10 mg एलिमिनेट हो रहा बॉडी में से, मतलब by the 10th hour, ठीक है, by the 10th hour the whole drug will be eliminated. ठीक है, अब वही सेम ड्रग का मैं 200 mg दिया ना, तो क्या होता, 1 hour के इंटरवल पे फिर 10 mg ही एलिमिनेट होता. There is no constant percentage, there is only constant volume, constant amount. It means that instead of the drug getting eliminated in 10 hours, it will get eliminated in 20 hours. Meaning I have 10 extra hours of duration of action and 10 extra hours where that drug is remaining in the patient's body. That can be harmful in certain scenarios. I hope you are understanding the importance of first order and zero order kinetics. First order kinetics में the fraction or that percentage will be constant. Okay, a constant percentage is getting eliminated. उसमें क्या हो रहा है, अगर 100 mg का drug दे रहा हूं मैं, and I'm telling, let's suppose 20% is getting excreted at 1 hour interval. It means that in 5 hours the whole drug will get eliminated. फर्स्ट आवर पे 20% गया, सेकेंड आवर पे 40% गया, थर्ड आवर पे 60% गया, फोर्थ आवर पे 80% गया, फिफ्थ आवर पे 100% चले गया. Percentage is constant. If I increase the dose also, percentage will remain the same. ठीक है, अब ये 100 mg का 20% करा तो मैं 20 mg होता, 200 mg का 20% करा मैं तो 40 mg होता. Percentage is remaining constant in first order kinetic drugs. In zero order kinetic drugs, you have a constant amount that is eliminated. Okay? That is the big difference between first order and zero order kinetic drugs. I hope you understood. If you have doubts in drug elimination or kinetics of drug absorption, kinetics of drug elimination or T-half, let me know. And put it in the chat as well. Okay. समझ में आया, आप लोगों को डाउट है तो you can ask freely. These are quite important concepts. If you're not understanding, then it will be hard for you to understand it through textbook alone. Okay. Now, coming to adverse drug reactions. Now, adverse drug reactions are essentially ADRs. Okay. These are any responses. Okay. Any response that is produced by a drug, and it causes any noxious feeling or unintended reaction in a patient at doses that are meant for either prophylaxis or for diagnosis or therapy. That is called adverse effect. I'll repeat once again. Adverse drug reactions are effects that are produced by the drug. See, you are giving a drug. Let's suppose you know that the normal therapeutic dose or normal dose of that drug is, let's suppose, 10 mg. Example. Okay? You are giving this drug for whatever reason. You are giving it for either prophylaxis. Prophylaxis is preventive treatment. Yeah, you are giving it for diagnostic treatment. You get to diagnose whether or not a person has a certain condition. Today, drugs are given for diagnostic. We'll go look at that after some other time. But certain drugs can be given for diagnostic purposes as well. या फिर आप थेरेपेटिक पर्पसेस के लिए दे रहे टू ट्रीट. ठीक है, you are either giving it for a preventive measure or you are giving it for diagnosis or you are giving it for therapy. You know this is the normal dose. But what is happening is at this doses there are some unintended effects. Okay, there might be some noxious reactions, some harmful reactions to the patient. Those reactions that are occurring at a normal dose and it is producing any noxious and unintended effects in that person are called adverse effects or adverse drug reactions. Okay. Now, all drugs can cause ADRs, but some patients are more likely to exhibit ADRs. Okay. Certain populations have the affinity to produce a specific ADR out of a group of drugs compared to some other patients. For example, let's suppose there is some drug A, okay, and you are giving it worldwide, example, and it is producing different ADRs. Let's suppose in Americans, it is producing rashes. Okay, in Spanish people, it is causing diarrhea. Okay, in Indians, it is causing headache. Whatever, अलग-अलग reactions हो रहे हैं अलग-अलग populations में. ठीक है, तो it does not mean that what you call वो drug के एक ही ADR है. It means that all of those are the drugs ADRs. It is just that depending on different populations, you are seeing different effects or different adverse effects essentially. Okay. Now coming to types of ADRs, we have a small chart. So ADR जो है there are essentially 5 different types of ADR: A, B, C, D, E. Type A, Type B, Type C, Type D, and Type E. Okay. So we have first Type A. Type A adverse effects are called augmented. ठीक है. Augmented का मतलब ये है कि it is an additional reaction. ठीक है. So it is an addition to the therapeutic effect of the drug. इसका मतलब क्या है? Now there are 3 different types of augmented reactions. You have side effects, you have secondary effects, and toxic effects. These augmented reactions are related to pharmacological effects of the drug. मतलब these are predictable. These are dose related. ठीक है. And they are quantitative effects. इसका मतलब क्या है? Depending on the quantity that you are giving and depending on the dose of the drug that you are giving, the reaction will vary. ठीक है. वो reaction augment हो रहा है, वो reaction बढ़ रहा है. ठीक है. For example, patient को diabetes है. Let's suppose there is a patient who has diabetes and you are prescribing them insulin. Sometimes what happens is in diabetic patients, they will get hypoglycemia after they take an insulin dose. Let's suppose they are taking excessive dose or some or the other reaction is occurring, and because of insulin, there is an additional effect. Now, instead of going from hyperglycemia to normal glycemia, they are going to hypoglycemia. Okay? So, hyperglycemia इधर है समझो. ठीक है. Let's suppose their glycemic level was 250 mg per dl. They were supposed to come in between, let's suppose the intended range was 120 to 180. ठीक है. ये intended range था इंसुलिन देने के बाद नॉर्मल ग्लाइसेमिया. अब हो रहा है क्या? Instead of coming to this level, they are going lower. Let's suppose they are going to 60. Okay, that causing hypoglycemia. So you get the point. Augmented effect of the original drug. अगर आप antihypertensive के terms में बोले, let's suppose there is a patient who is taking alpha blockers, something like prazosin. ठीक है. उनके अंदर क्या हो रहा? ब्लड प्रेशर, हाई ब्लड प्रेशर से नॉर्मल ब्लड प्रेशर को आने का लो ब्लड प्रेशर पे चले आ रहा. So there is additional effect of the drug. Those are augmented reactions. Okay. Now, augmented reactions are of 3 types. You have side effects. There are secondary effects. And there are toxic effects. Okay. Then there is type B reactions. These are bizarre reactions. Okay. Bizarre reactions भी बोलते हैं because they are unrelated to pharmacological effects. Okay. They come out of the blue essentially. Okay. They are completely unrelated to the primary effect of the drug altogether. इसमें 2 examples आते हैं आपको. Okay. There are idiosyncratic reactions. Idiosyncratic reactions are essentially reactions due to their genetic material. Okay? Maybe they have a particularly faulty gene or they have a special gene because of which that person is susceptible to that type of ADR. Those are idiosyncratic reactions. Genetically determined abnormal reactions to idiosyncratic reactions. For example, थोड़े पेशेंट्स रहते हैं जिनके अंदर G6PD deficiency रहती, glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. That's a very important enzyme that should be present in a patient. And there is a subset of population in the world who have deficiency of that enzyme. वो patients के अंदर अगर if you don't know that they are G6PD deficient and you give Primaquine or you give sulfonamides, ठीक है? Primaquine is an antimalarial drug, sulfonamide is a type of this thing antibiotic drug. अगर आप वो दिए तो क्या होता है? उनके अंदर hemolysis होता है. Their blood cells or their RBCs will die. ठीक है? So those are idiosyncratic reactions. There is no way that you will know beforehand until and unless you test. ठीक है? Until and unless the patient is already telling you, look, I am G6PD deficient, or you are testing their, you are performing G6PD and you are specifically looking for any genetic disorders, and आपको पता चला कि G6PD deficiency है. Until and unless you do that, you will not know. Okay? And if you know some doctor unintentionally gives primaquine and sulfonamide without knowing this, without that prior knowledge, that might lead to hemolysis. Then the other one will be allergic reactions. Okay. These are immunologically mediated reactions. They are not related to the drug altogether. Okay. It is just that the patient is allergic to either the drug or the metabolite of the drug. Now, what will happen is that drug or the metabolite of the drug will act as an antigen, and against those antigens, your body will start producing antibodies, and there will be a proper allergic reaction. Okay, you'll mainly see the effects of these allergic reactions on skin, respiratory tract, GIT, blood. Okay, blood vessels specifically. They will start getting inflamed. You might have rashes. The patient might develop fever. अलग-अलग type के reactions रहते हैं. Allergic reactions भी 4 type के रहते हैं. I think last year hypersensitivity में आप लोग पढ़े थे ये. But just in case you forgot, you have type 1. Type 1 is anaphylactic reactions. Okay. Anaphylaxis. लोगों को पेनिसिलिन से टाइप 1 रिएक्शन हो सकता है, पेनिसिलिन या लिग्नोकेन से एनाफिलैक्टिक रिएक्शन हो सकता है. टाइप 2 विल बी साइटोलाइटिक रिएक्शंस. ठीक है, साइटोलाइटिक रिएक्शंस. देन टाइप 3 will be Arthus reactions. ठीक है, इसमें एंटीजन एंटीबॉडी कॉम्प्लेक्सेस will cause vasculitis and they will cause serum sickness. Generally, you will see Arthus reaction in the form of Stevens-Johnson syndrome or toxic epidermal necrolysis. Those will be coming under Arthus reaction. Severe skin reactions. Okay, there is a very good chance that the patient will die because of Arthus reaction. It is very hard to treat an Arthus reaction. Okay, it will basically affect the whole skin all over the person's body in that reaction. Okay. Then there is type 4 reaction, which is delayed hypersensitivity. Okay. Now these are mainly T cell mediated reactions. Okay. For example, T cell mediated contact dermatitis. ठीक है, जनरली पेनिसिलिन की वजह से होता. आप एक बार पेनिसिलिन देने के बाद बहुत देर बाद एक हाइपरसेंसिटिविटी रिएक्शन हो रहा पेशेंट में. Those will come under delayed hypersensitivity reactions. Arthus reactions are common for drugs called sulfonamides. Okay, discuss about sulfonamide. You have it in your portion, but that is essentially the case. Cytolytic के लिए carbamazepine है, थोड़े पेशेंट्स को cytolytic reactions होते हैं उससे, या फिर phenytoin से होते. इसमें essentially होता क्या cytolytic reaction में antigen antibody complexes बनते. So the drug itself is acting as an antigen, and antibodies are produced in your body against those drugs, essentially the antigen, and they will activate a particular defense mechanism in your body called complement system. You didn't study about complement system. I think last year आप लोगों को थोड़ा complement proteins के बारे में एक बार पढ़ाया था शायद आपको, when we were discussing immunoglobulin. But complement system will get activated, and you will start seeing cell death. Those are essentially cytolytic reactions. Okay. We'll discuss about type C, type D, and type E tomorrow. All right.